Real power is internal, and if you've been training martial arts like Tai Chi for years, but still do not understand how to generate power, still watching old videos of masters in awe, wondering if it was true to begin with, then this video is for you, so that you will understand this. Internal power is simply refined, and it does not rely on brute muscular force, but even the slow forms found in Tai Chi styles. That internal power is deceptively present, and therefore it reveals itself the moment one learns to release excess muscular tension, allowing Qi to flow and the internal force to follow. But what does the Qi follow? It follows the mind, and more specifically I, intent, the mind will. And therefore, as the saying goes, when the mind goes, energy flows. And that is the secret. As the muscles release excess tension and the body opens up, the energy can freely flow. But what you're actually doing is mobilizing the soft tissues more and not simply contracting the muscles with tension as if you were lifting a boulder. And therefore, what you focus on is no longer just muscle, but the soft tissues, the fascia, the tendons, the ligaments, and the joints, the connective tissues, and also the bones, so that with the release of tension, the Qi also penetrates the bones, and when you release all the way to the bones. But beyond simply opening the body, you also sink down and therefore harmonize with gravity. And this is different from when you lift weights, where you oppose gravity instead. But in sinking, the weight travels all the way to the feet and therefore creates a reaction that moves upward. And as you do this, you activate a point in the ball of the foot called Yang Chuan. And with standing meditation, an ancient Daoist method, this is what happens. As the point just below the navel expands, and this happens through inhalation guided by your intent, the breath begins to lead downward. But instead of stopping in the torso, it is led all the way to the soles of the feet, and therefore the hips and waist sink slightly. And with the coccyx gently tucked in, the upper body begins to open. But at the same time, the head is suspended as if pulled upward by a string, and therefore the spine lengthens naturally. And while the chest slightly sinks and the upper back rounds, these essential points remain the same. And therefore, they are also the same principles when you perform the Tai Chi form. And behind all of this is intent, the mind, and where the mind goes, energy flows. But this is not a modern idea. It is not a theory. It comes from the ancient practice of standing meditation, originally a Daoist practice, developed not to build brute strength, but to cultivate intent. And therefore, instead of forcing the body, the mind is trained first. And as the mind becomes clear and directed, the body follows. But when the body follows the mind, movement becomes effortless. Power becomes unified. And what looks simple on the outside reveals depth on the inside. And that is the foundation behind all of it. And standing meditation, especially the hugging tree posture, has been fundamental in my development. And not because it looks impressive, but because it looks simple. But within that simplicity, it cultivated the mind first, and therefore revealed what internal power actually is. And as the mind became clearer and more settled, the body began to organize itself naturally. But instead of separating mind and body, they started to harmonize and therefore function as a single unit. And when the body moves as one, effort decreases, structure improves, and power becomes whole rather than fragmented. And that unity is what standing meditation ultimately develops. And in the pinned comment and description, you can access my free standing meditation tutorial and start your journey in exploring your mind and body today.